Hi, I'm George, the Weather Dad, to take a look at your upcoming weekend. Boy, do we need a break from the Arctic cold. Are we going to get it? The answer is yes. Now, the question then becomes, is the warm-up going to extend on into Christmas week? I'll show you Christmas Day here in a second, kind of give you a sneak preview of what we can expect. But before that, it's still going to be cold across most of the Midwest, the Great Lakes region. In fact, you can kind of see here most of the country either below normal or pretty close to normal. And we should be in the lower 40s, but we're not going to be anywhere close to that there on your Monday. Now, we will, though, start seeing a warm-up. This is on Tuesday. Notice what's going on in the central U.S. That yellow is going to start pushing its way more towards the Midwest, and you kind of see the blues, the real dark blues now starting to change a little bit. So the air is modifying a little bit, but it's going to take its time because we have a pretty good snowpack across the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. Here we go on Wednesday. You can get a little bit colder up towards the north. You got another shot at some colder air as we're going to be seeing a developing storm system down in around the Texas area and then scoot right up towards the northeast. By Thursday, you see what happens here. There's that system. It develops, moves on up. It's going to bring a nice little tongue of some warmer air in. We could be looking at 50 degrees plus here in the Ohio Valley, and that's going to melt a lot of the snow that's out there right now. But the very cold, bitter cold temperatures up in the northern plains there. But watch what happens here on Friday. It kind of dips a little bit more towards the southeast, but the real purple's staying up towards the north. So yeah, it's going to get cold a little bit by the week's end, but it's not going to be as bitterly cold as it is right now. By Saturday, that warm-up now starts to continue. So the cold air on Friday will be short-lived as we'll get back into some warmer air from that standpoint. Now, let's take a look at Christmas. Jumping to Christmas, it's going to be fairly warm across the Ohio Valley, points southward. So any type of precipitation, if this holds, will fall in the form of rain, and that kind of puts a damper on the potential for a white Christmas. Here we go with precipitation. Monday, lake effect snows certainly in effect. The Pacific Northwest getting hammered. Just about everyone else, though, pretty quiet. Tuesday, not much really going on. You can kind of see that energy now starting to work its way into the central Rockies there. But again, most of the country, not too bad, pretty dry. By Wednesday, that energy starts developing in this area and it's going to combine with that low there. And watch what happens here on Thursday. It just explodes. A lot of moisture moving on in, but with temperatures close to normal, maybe even a little bit above normal, most of this is going to fall in the form of rain. There'll be snow up in this area, certainly, but right here in the Midwest and the Ohio Valley, looks like it's just going to be a rather wet event. By Friday, that moves off towards the East Coast. Some more lake effect snows possible up around the Great Lakes, but a pretty good system, again, moving its way into the Pacific Coast. Here over the weekend, next weekend, pretty dry. Looks like driving conditions for the most part won't be all that bad. And then we're going to jump right to Christmas. This is Christmas Day, and again, remember the temperatures above normal. We are looking at potentially some moisture here in the Ohio Valley and Midwest, but if temperatures stay above normal, that's not going to fall in the form of snow. However, if you want snow, look what's going on the West Coast. Major storm system pushing its way in, so the higher elevations there in California and the Rockies, looks like you may be getting a very, very white Christmas, very heavy snows potentially at that point in time. But keep in mind, we're still a good week and a half out before Christmas, and all this can certainly change. But the trend is heading more towards a warmer Christmas. So the bottom line is we're going to warm up, melt the snow that we have out there right now, and it looks like next, at least traveling conditions for the holiday, for Christmas, looking okay for right now. I'm George, the Weather Dad.